What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fantasy and Frames, the draft show. Tonight, guys, we have got such a treat for you. We are going to be doing a Scott Fishbowl, a mock draft tonight. And joining us to help us tackle this year's scoring format, we have got Howard Bender, we've got Andrew Cooper, and we have got Colby Conway from Fantasy Alarm. Guys, how's it going? Erica is going to need a little grace tonight because she's watching her Oklahoma Thunder in what is, fingers crossed, their championship game tonight.
Hopefully. We're praying.
Fingers crossed. So, yeah, we've got a lot of people joining us that are also going to be hanging out in the mock draft with us. But first and foremost, I want to welcome our guest. You guys probably know everybody who's on here tonight, but thank you all again for joining us too. So first and foremost, Howard Bender. He's the head of content at Fantasy Alarm, and you can find him on SiriusXM. Howard, how are you tonight?
Doing very, very well. I very much appreciate the invite. Always love getting a chance to jump onto some fantasy and frames work. So appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. And then we have got the tight end guru himself. We've got Andrew Cooper. Coop is the Cooper, you're the 2024 FSWA Writer of the Year, football Writer of the Year, right?
Really?
Did I get that right? That's on your That's on your Twitter.
That is right.
Okay, I was like,
that is right. That is right.
Wrong.
We won some awards. Hey, but that was last year. That was last year. This is this year. So we got to step it up. We got to step it up. I love being in this part of the section here with the chat because I give the chat a little smooch. Like Angie, right there, right in front of me there. And done. Jack, what's up, gang? How we doing? I'm in here with the people.
I just noticed that. We're gonna have to. You know what? We got to take that off because it's gonna get real wonky. Are you sure? Because it's gonna get real wonky when we put the draft.
He's celebrating that to absolve himself from any bad
great
he makes.
It's great because if anyone has a good comment in the chat, I could just be like, "Wow!"
You just point to it
right there. Look at Angie. All right, so it is real nice.
If you're giving out kisses, I'm throwing my name into the ring right now. Look at that.
Out. He coming up. He does this on our show on Wednesdays. You're a member of the show. Please mute him from the chat.
No kiss from me. All right. Thanks, Coop. I'll remember that one.
I'm making you responsible for the chat then, though. You've got to point out all the good comments then.
Bender.
Yeah,
exactly. This guy right here.
Guys, we also have Colby Conway joining us. Colby, you are the host of Caught Stealing on Fantasy Alarm and a writer for Fantasy Alarm, Fantasy and Frames, and Big Eye Sports. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Happy to be here. Ready to talk some football as the resident Texans fan here. So I'm looking forward to drafting some tonight.
Yes. Unfortunately, our poor Tank Dell, we can't. That's you and I last year. We're just love Tank Dell so much. It's a sad time for us. All right, guys. So just a little housekeeping real quick. I want to go over everybody who jumped into the mock draft with us. So there's 6 of us here, 6 of us online as well. That is going to be Miss Angie Hatfield, Ann Dunn, Jack Scott, Sam Schneider, Vince Mapstone, and Kyle Ziegler are all drafting with us. Poor Charlene wasn't able to make it because she's driving right now and doesn't have any signal. So, but I guess she's got enough signal to jump in. So hopefully that stays for a while for her.
Don't drive and draft, people.
Yeah, unless someone else is driving. So, and then draft all you want.
There you go.
Yeah, okay, guys. Like I promised, we are going to be doing a Scott Fishbowl mock draft tonight. Are you guys ready? Should we start this thing?
Sure,
I'm ready.
Let's go.
I'm so ready.
All right. Do I want to start the draft? Yes, I do. All right. Let's get this. Here we go. All right. So is the comment thing in the side going to bother us as we're drafting? What do you guys think?
Not till about the 9th round.
Okay. Like. All right. So we'll keep it for now. Kyle's got the first pick. Oh, okay. So he already went. So Kyle and I were both at the Orlando live draft last year and just sniped each other all the time. So I feel like he chose that spot on purpose. But we have 2 minutes each pick just so we can chat about our picks and the scoring and everything. And Kev, Erica, do you guys want to chat about the scoring for Scott Fishbowl?
Yeah, so it's a little bit different this season from MFL, which some drafts are hosted on, and then Sleeper. The basics for both, though, 6-point touchdowns, 0.04, which is 25 yards is 1 point for passing. So 1 yard is 1/25th. 1.1 for each yard rushing, receiving, point for first downs, rushing and receiving. Tight end premium, you get a point extra per reception. But where it gets different You get your half point per carry on both, but on MFL, 1 point per target, 1 point per reception. On Sleeper, 2.5 points per reception. So a little bit different there. I believe that has to do with the starting lineup there, but there's IDP scoring as well, which is the looking like the Travis Hunter rule, potentially the Bo Melton rule. We'll see about that. But,
Bo Melton.
Wow, Bo Melton.
Oh,
so yeah, it should be fun. Should be a little loosey goosey here.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good time. So, all right, Howard, you're up right now, right?
I am. Did you want me to make a pick? I thought you wanted me to kind of stall and dawdle. I'm a little pissed off that you took Jamar Chase. I thought you were going to take like Saquon Barkley, Stace. Why you got to be like that?
So I just, I guess I've got the heebie-jeebies with Barkley, and I'm just a little worried, right? Because it can't be any better than he did last year. So, and I never have any Jamar Chase. I never get lucky enough to grab Jamar Chase. So I just took him here.
Well, I'm a little bummed that I hit the draft button for him, and you said heebie-jeebies, so you just put the whammy on me. So if you're going with the heebie-jeebie defense, I lose.
It's
3 picks in. 3 picks in. We already have a heebie-jeebie whammy. It's gonna be out here.
So let me ask you guys right now, like this 1 point per first down, does this like change our priorities here? Does this make us like want to go more running backs? Does it make us going to go wide receivers? Like, what are we thinking here with that pick? And Kevin took Bowers. He's going to have to talk about that in a second.
Of course.
Colby, I mean, I've done some rankings for this. They're available at Fantasy Alarm for free because there's a cherry contest. It's all fun. And I will say that when you go through and you look at this format, whether it's sleeper or MFL, and it says it right in the rules, volume is king. Right. So you want the guys getting the touches. You want the guys that are the go-to guy on third down. I mean, watch any Vikings game, whether it's 2 yards, whether it's 10 yards, whether it's 15 yards, we know where the ball is going. Right. It's going to Justin Jefferson. Think about what these teams do. Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, those guys often lead the league in first downs. They lead the league in touches, targets. So it really is kind of a gut. There is a gut feel part to it. Right. You want the guys that are the focal points of the offense, especially in crunch time. So, you can go and look at the stats for the last few years. The guys that get the first downs are the guys that you think.
Yeah, but I think it gives a little bit of a boost. Not enough to like jack up the ADP, but it gives a little boost to guys on the team who are also security blankets, right? Like, I remember when Mohamed Sanu was playing, and it was like third and Sanu was the expression that they used because they knew they were going to him each time. So like, we were talking about Coop and I were talking about Adam Thielen earlier in the day. Listen, he might be a very, very late round pick, but with first downs being scored, it does give him a little bit of a boost.
Mohamed Sanu walked so Juwan Jennings could run.
It's like, that's a deep cut, Mohamed Sanu.
There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
Angie's giving your rankings a test drive tonight, Coop.
Me too. So we'll see how they fare. We reserve the right to update them as always. We constantly keep the rankings updated because we do a living draft guide. It's not just like, oh, here's a PDF, that's it forever. We always update them. So we'll see how they go tonight, but I feel pretty good about them. I'm on the clock here. Let's check and see what my rankings say. My rankings say this. And this is a guy that in any format can score 400 fantasy points. In this one especially, where targets are extra points, carries are extra points, where the coach has put him on the field for like 95% of the snaps at times. If this guy's healthy, he could be the best player in this format.
Do you feel like this is the cheapest you're ever going to get him right now?
Perhaps. Perhaps there's a lot of good. The thing is, every player that's been picked so far rocks. So I actually have no problem with anyone in the first round, which is why I'm thinking that pick 11 I'm feeling okay about, especially because everybody peer pressured Scott into making it third round reversal, which is great for me. I picked 11, which I'm actually picking at 11 in the SFB when it comes out.
Yeah, I'm picking at number 2, and I picked my spot before we knew we were going to do third round reversals. So now I'm regretting it just a smidge.
Yeah. When Stacy sent me the link to enter this draft, I literally put one name in the queue, and it was Brock Bowers. So, I mean, look, it's basically Amon-Ra St. Brown that happens to play tight end, and then you're getting the premium on top of that. So, I mean, the first two players that would have been in my queue are both Las Vegas Raiders, whether it's Bowers or Ashton Genty. So
that's awesome. I gotta ask Colby, would you, so with something like this where quarterbacks aren't necessarily as valuable, would you want this to be third round reversal, or do you think it should not be?
I was going to go Lamar in this first round anyway, just because, like you said, volume is king. I get the first downs, I get all the rushing attempts, and obviously the passing stat should be there for him. So for me, looking at how this draft is playing out, I'm not really too concerned about it. I know I want to get at least one stud QB. I mean, if a second one falls to me here, I might just double tap the position and then go elsewhere. But for me, the third round reversal, I'm actually picking 7 in the live draft in Charlotte in a couple of weeks. So if the board happens to go like this, I don't mind some of the quarterbacks, but seeing a bunch now go, I love the third round reversal. So I'm glad it's back for this year.
Yeah.
I took a spot in the middle. I didn't care.
So we're only going to be doing the first 11 rounds. It's a 22 round draft. But I didn't think we needed to do all 22 rounds tonight. So just first 11 for us here. So let's see. Who's team 9? Oh, team 9 just took Justin Jefferson. So in this format, am I reading this right? Like, you don't actually have to start a quarterback ever, right?
No.
You don't have to start any position. There's no position that is a designated position spot. You don't have to start
an ultra flex, so it's 2 super flex spots. So you can max out with 2 QBs, right? But that's it. You can only have 2 QBs in your starting lineup. You can have as many on your roster as you want, but then everything else is just, running back, wide receiver, or tight end. So kind of comes out as kind of interesting. I actually scored, off of some projections just based on what it is. And I'm actually surprised that, these QBs like Allen or Daniels fell to the second round. I thought the tail end of this draft would probably be a little bit more QB heavy, but I like this jump to, guys like Gibbs and McBride and McCaffrey. Because, quarterbacks, because when I scored it out, I did the top 15 QBs, top 15 tight ends, top 30 running backs, and top 30 wide receivers. And, there's still, out of those 90 players, the 15th ranked quarterback scoring wise, just based off of projections, was still in the low 50s. So quarterbacks still have a strong value in here. It's just not as crazy as, Scott's past scoring has been.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the draft within a draft, which I actually do like.
Yeah, I hated that. Because the draft within the draft that Kev's referring to is when you have Superflex or 2 QB formats, you have to get your quarterbacks. If you don't get them, you're drawing dead. And that draft in a 22 round draft ends around what typically Kev, round 12, 13 latest.
Yeah,
you're gone.
Yeah, all the starters are gone. Yeah,
that feeling of panic is kind of crazy. To Howard's point, my rankings, I truly felt the way that he feels. Where once you get to the middle rounds, because the scoring kind of flattens out quarterbacks. Once you get to the middle rounds, though, any quarterback is kind of better than any mediocre player. So they are going to go. They might not be as top heavy, but they're a very, very reasonable option once you get to rounds 4, 5, 6.
Yep.
All right. Colby, I wanted to ask you about Nico Collins and the Texans offense. Are you really excited for that for this year since they have a new OC now?
Oh, I didn't know he played for the Texans. That just happened to work out. That I guess he plays for my favorite team. No, love the talent. I saw some tweets about him today, or posts, about talking him up. He's looked good through camp, through all the reports that I have seen, and he's one of the couple of guys that can contend for wide receiver 1. The big thing on Collins is just, unfortunately, he's due to miss 1 to 3 games every single season. But as we saw last year, the pace that he opened the year on before he pulled his hamstring in Buffalo, he would have contended for a wide receiver 1 overall. So this could be the season if he stays healthy. No matter what, he's going to be the focal point of the passing attack. So while I am excited about the Houston offense as a whole, it is clear-cut Nico Collins, wide receiver 1, and then a clear step down till number 2. So I love Nico this year. I was stoked to get him at 2.6.
Do you have a favorite one of the rookie wide receivers that they drafted?
Higgins has the clearest path because Kirk's most likely going to be in the slot, and then Higgins is just kind of the Nico clone. And then if you think about it too, like I just said, Nico's due to miss 1 to 3 games every single season. Why not put a Nico clone in the Nico spot? So Jaden Higgins is probably going to be a super popular best ball guy because there's going to be a path to playing time early. And if anything happens to Nico, he's the obvious replacement. So I would probably lean him. Noel's missed some time in some of the OTAs, but from all the reports, it's nothing serious. He could have went if it was like regular season, but I would probably lean Higgins over Noel right now.
Yeah. Okay, so third round reversal just literally happened. We've got a running back run with Hall, Brown, and Achane going right now. So we get extra 5.5 points per carry, right? So does that make these running backs a little bit more appealing, or do you think they're going to start going a little bit earlier than maybe like the wide receivers?
I think they will. I think they should. I mean, especially guys that have the opportunity to get the huge volume, right? The huge volume of touches, because that really is free real estate. Like the fact that some of these running backs are guaranteed to get 10 to 20 carries in any of these games creates such a crazy floor compared to wide receivers that even some of the best ones every once in a while go out and catch 2 balls, So guys like Chase Brown, who I just took, like the way I look at it, he's the best back on his team. It's a team where he could fall backwards into double-digit touchdowns, and I don't see why he wouldn't be the preferred guy in every phase of the game. So for me, I'm just chasing that volume. I love the pick that was made by DJ at the very first pick there. Of the second round, Kyron Williams. I mean, like that's a guy that we don't love his efficiency, but he played 87% of the snaps last year. Nobody else played more than 80%. Jonathan Taylor played exactly 80, but no one else played more. A guy like Kyron Williams, if you're saying volume is king and they just do what they do last year, that guy has such a crazy floor and a high ceiling.
Let me ask you a Kyron Williams question, because this just kind of came to mind. Like, do you ever feel like when you get in a draft and Kyron Williams is there, like nobody wants to take him? Is
Absolutely.
that right? Like, why? Why is it? Because he obviously produces. So, like, what is it about Kyron Williams that gives like drafters the ick? Like, what is it?
Like anyone that does Dynasty knows that there are boxes that you're supposed to check, right? You're supposed to be over 200 pounds. You're supposed to be reasonably fast. You're supposed to go on the first 2 days of the draft. Kyron Williams did none of that. Literally none of that. And Cam Akers got hurt and he got the job and ran with it. The reason that like he's good is because of the brute force volume, but the numbers on paper aren't that great, right? Like some people are worried about Blake Corum, they're worried about Jarquez Hunter, but in a format like this, I really don't. All I care about is that volume. Like you could have 0 yards if you get 20 carries and 5 targets. That's 15 points. You could literally have 0 yards, but if you're getting the targets and carries, it is a crazy floor. So,
yeah,
I'm not even sure if Kyron Williams is good.
Is anybody sure? No one knows.
I mean, Sean McVay likes him. That's
all that matters.
It's literally all that matters.
All that matters, right? Exactly. So, who are we to argue?
We've all been writing the epitaph for Kyron Williams for the past 2 years. So,
I mean,
and it's like the Mark Twain thing. The the rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
Yeah, it's time to put down the hammer and chisel there.
He doesn't die though, man. So I mean, like a format like this, especially, you almost can't go wrong.
Anne wants to know how you keep all the stuff in your head. Coop.
Was that Howard? Howard keeps me. I have to stay. So here's what we do. I wake up. I'm changed in the basement. I do my research. Then he pulls out flashcards, and we do all the flashcards until all the stats are in there. So yeah, and then we do the show at 6 to 8 p.m. on Sirius XM. So yeah, it's all in there. Right, Howard?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. I think that, you know what it is? I don't think there's anything else in there except football knowledge here.
We're
So
losing.
that's kind of how we like it.
We're losing a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a player here, Coop, just for you. I know you love him. You know I love him. Let's get some Chuba Hubbard in there.
Oh, perfect for this format.
Howard, you stole Joe Burrow from me. How am I supposed to start chasing with now? I've got to figure something else out.
Listen, let this be a lesson. Everybody always snipes my stacks when I try to make them, so I'm going to give back. Listen, I saw that picture of Hayden Christensen's hair superimposed onto swaggy Joe Burrow, and I melted. I literally melted. It was like he had laser eyes that just pierced into my soul, and I had to take him. Plus, his defense is so bad still that he's going to lead the league in pass attempts.
You and everybody else melted. Joe, there's like a whole zone version of TikTok that just is like dedicated to Joe Burrow accounts.
I subscribe.
It's called Spicy White Boy Talk. I kid you not.
I know. It's in my feed.
The real one's no Tumblr, though.
I have a fun stat for you guys about Chuba Hubbard. Howard, if you guys are interested in fun stats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So he generated plus 282 rushing yards over expected in 2024, which was the third most in the NFL behind Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry last year.
Because volume is key.
Chuba Hubbard last year had more yards from scrimmage per game than Justin Jefferson.
That's wild.
Chuba Hubbard went from in 2 fewer games and only 12 more carries, had almost 200 yards more than the previous year with 5 extra touchdowns. Dave Canales loves to run the football, and he loves using one guy.
Chat, press Y to subscribe to Chuba Hubbard Facts.
It makes me so happy to hear everyone loving Chuba, because he was my guy at Oklahoma State. So, big Chuba Hubbard fan. I just got sniped. He was in my top of my queue for that pick.
Why did I post my rankings right before? I could have posted my rankings right after this.
Honestly, a rookie mistake.
Huge mistake.
You'll know for next year now.
Chuba was already number 1 in my heart, so you knew he was going my way. You knew it was happening.
Kevin, even with the bump here that running backs get, you still hate them. It looks like here with your 2 tight ends and 2 receivers.
Do you know me? Do you know me?
I know. It makes no difference.
There's carries further in the draft. There's guys I like that are still later. So why would I push guys up when I can be totally fine, just lie in the weeds? And if there's a running back I like, I'll take him. I mean, at this point, we're pretty much in the RB dead zone when guys like Joe Mixon are being drafted. Sorry, Colby.
Oh.
Sorry, I should have said earmuffs before that. But.
Catching strays, Colby.
But is there no, is there really no dead zone? I almost feel like you could draft in the Scott Fish Bowl like you would draft in a points league for fantasy baseball. If you set your projections up and stuff like that, because the position doesn't matter.
Yeah, Anthony Desclafani will be there in the 20th round. I'm good.
That would be sick. If Desclafani was there in the 20th round, man, that would be a sick bargain.
Colby, what do you think? You're a baseball guy too. Do you get that feeling from this?
I don't understand how we mentioned fantasy baseball and the first player that comes up is Tony Disco. Of all the players in the world, Anthony DeSclafani is the one that comes up. Let's throw out Bronson Arroyo and all these other bums.
Alex Wood
from that time.
Goodness.
Yeah. Oh,
Mark Pryor.
Whoa.
He was good.
Bronson Arroyo.
Other guys. I mean, I'm still a little upset. I'm still rattled by the Joe Mixon dead zone running back comment. But listen, I understand everyone's worried about Nick Chubb coming in, taking meaningful carries. They shouldn't be. It's merely an insurance policies. But I get it. I understand. I know Kevin hates running backs, so I'm going to catch some strays there with Mixon.
This is the format to go with your heart, though, because it's there's a trillion people in this. You're not going to win. So if Kev wants to do 0 RB, and if he wins with 0 RB, then he gets to flex. If Colby wants to take Nico Collins, which is a good pick, regardless. But if he wants to take Texans and he wins with his guys, that's the way you should play this.
Look,
play to win.
Who needs Chanel West Coast? You got Kev West Coast with Brock Bowers, Puka,
Chanel.
Led McConkey, and Kittle.
Next up on ridiculousness.
Oh my goodness. Is that our second rookie off the board in Quinshon Jenkins behind Genty? I think it is, right?
Third, Hunter went.
Hunter.
Oh, Hunter.
Yeah.
I didn't even see where Hunter. Wait, okay, so let's talk about Hunter. Where did he go? How did I miss that?
Vince took him.
410, which is
Nice.
honestly surprising that he went that late.
Dude, very
Oh,
reasonable
there he is.
spot. Very reasonable spot considering he could ruin this format. Like
Can we-
Someone will take him in the
Yeah.
first round. Like someone will take him in the top 5.
they should.
I will guarantee it.
Do you feel like this is appropriate, right? 4th round here, Vince is the 10th overall spot. This is a good spot for Travis Hunter.
I think he
I'm
should be a
starting
second rounder.
to think maybe now that I see how this one went, I'm starting to think maybe I should move him up. I'm already going to move Tyreek Hill up 2 spots because it's like you have to ask yourself who could really kind of be the number 1 player. And I was like just looking at Tyreek Hill and I'm like, you know what? This guy could have 1,700 yards at any given time. So I ended up taking him. And Travis Hunter, because of the IDP scoring, he could kind of ruin things. So
Yeah.
I don't like taking him in the first round though. I won't. But in the third,
But there will be people who will.
yeah,
100%.
exactly. I kind of wrote him off, but then I looking back, like, should I have taken him in the 3rd round?
Can I ask you guys something about Jacksonville in general? Because this came up. Somebody asked me about this, and I said, you know what? That's a really great question. I wanted to save that for tonight's show and get y'all's opinion on it. The fact that Shane Waldron is now in Jacksonville, does that make us feel any kind of way? Does that give us any kind of concern, any kind of pause at all with him being there? It obviously hasn't gone very well for him the last 2 stops that he's been at. So I know he's not the OC, he's the passing game coordinator, so there's that. I don't really know how much difference that makes, but I thought, that's not a terrible question to ask. What do you guys think?
I mean, the fact that he's only the passing game coordinator, it's still Liam Cohen's offense, right? And Liam Cohen, he's gonna follow the marching orders. I think when Waldron becomes when he's an offensive coordinator, that's when you're in trouble with route trees and things like that. But this is Liam Cohen's offense, and I think he's looking to install it exactly how he had it in Tampa Bay last year. So I'm not that concerned unless all of a sudden somebody fires Liam Cohen and they turn around and they promote Waldron. Then I'm nervous.
Okay. All right. That makes me feel a little better. I wasn't super, turned off by it at all, but I completely didn't even realize that he was over there now until it was brought up to me. I was like, oh my God, that's just something to think about.
Yeah. The thing about Waldron though, a lot of people said that he was too nice and was not a good coach, not a leader, right?
Yeah.
Caleb Williams was saying that he needed to look at film on his own, right? And I don't know, they're saying that he's just too nice of a guy and not really a guy that gets you in shape. But those guys can be very smart, and those guys can help craft a pass game as a ancillary piece that's not front facing. It's Brad Stevens for the Celtics did not work out as a coach, but he does a really good job up way in the behind the scenes with his spreadsheets and stuff. Sometimes those guys are good to have as part of the organization, but you don't want them front facing because they're just not built to craft and help mold these young players,
Yeah.
Is there more of a I was in an elevator with Sean McVay coach than Shane Waldron? Because it's proving, many are saying at this point.
I mean, dude, if I was in an elevator with Sean McVay, I feel like I'd come out of the elevator 10 times smarter, but also probably needing a nap. He just seems like a guy that does not stop when it comes to the football.
No, you want to run through a brick wall after hearing him say it.
He's a sick individual.
I just his memory is insane. I'm sure you guys have seen those YouTube clips. It's just absolutely unreal.
Yeah, he's got a problem.
That dude hasn't had a carb since 2004.
That's true. That is absolutely true.
He puts his pants on one leg at a time like the rest of us. What are we doing here?
That's right, Bender.
Come on.
That we know of.
Sean McVay and I are alike. We've both got great memories, except when we have an argument with our spouses. And then all of a sudden, then we don't remember anything that we've said or done, right?
Exactly. Then you're exonerated. You plead the fifth. Yeah. I love that RJ Harvey pick, Erica.
Yeah, me too.
Good spot for that.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought one pick later would have been better, but all right.
I almost took Hampton.
It was between Hampton and Harvey, but I like Harvey a little better.
You want to make a trade?
Like, Dobbins has not signed there, right? Yeah, he's just still visiting. He's playing around with it.
No, he
like,
signed.
He signed.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
But I'm not super worried about that. The thing with Harvey is that huge target volume for all of Joe Lombardi's running backs. Like, so he'll do fine with the carries, but he'll get the targets as well. And targets, if you're playing on MFL, targets are worth an extra point. On Sleeper, receptions are worth 2.5. So like guys like Alvin Kamara, who had he was on pace for 100 targets last year. Like that matters, you know. Like RJ Harvey definitely is in that kind of position. Whereas Greg Roman with the Mary Hampton, he could obviously, because he's awesome, could just take over and be the guy. But like Greg Roman doesn't throw to the running back like that. So it's kind of with Hampton,
kind of like Kellen Moore with Alvin Kamara this year, huh?
I'm leaving. Bye, everyone. I told you, Stacey, I told you if I came on, no one was allowed to be mean about Alvin Kamara. Didn't you tell?
I love Alvin Kamara. Nothing but love for Alvin Kamara here. I won't be mean about him, I promise. I can't speak for everyone else. All right, Kyle.
Sure he's a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm sure he's great.
Hell of a guy.
I'm sure that one instance.
Well, if you don't check
doesn't seem like that great a guy, but great football player.
I was gonna say, if you don't check the Vegas surveillance tape.
Don't look at the video.
Don't look at the tapes.
The elevator cam tells a different story.
Yeah. Other than that, great guy.
Yeah. All running backs should take the stairs moving forward. I'm talking to Ray Rice. I'm talking to Alvin Kamara. Like,
watch for video camera. I mean, like, come on. Like
that should be the rule. Like, get some steps in, cool down.
Goodell's gonna make them all wear GoPros pretty soon.
I mean,
body cams.
Body camera. I'm for it.
I mean, if Jamal Williams had a GoPro on 24/7, I'm not gonna lie, I'd watch that. I'd
probably have it. Absolutely.
I would have it as a second window here.
Jameis.
Also, why doesn't he have his own podcast yet?
He will.
I mean, I would pay to watch that.
He's got to link up with Amon Green and play and do video game podcasts. That's what I want. That's what I want. They haven't returned any of my emails yet.
I was just gonna say, did either one of them accept your friend request yet?
Amon Green did on Xbox, but he keeps playing these like weird games. I'm trying to get him to play some normal games with us, but he's always playing some like ninja games. So single player like ninja games. I'm like trying to get him because he said
he played Yakuza.
He says he plays like the finals. It's like Shishido or something like that. I don't know, but he says that he plays the finals in a couple games we play. So I've been trying to get him in.
Oh man,
but yeah.
So I mean, do you guys really think that like? Would you feel comfortable like just not taking a quarterback at all? And that like, would you actually do it? Because I think that I could, you know, and I know you can, but I'm just having a hard time with that. Like, would I actually start a lineup with no quarterbacks?
I'm gonna find out, I guess.
Well, you're gonna start a lineup with no running backs
and quarterbacks. I mean, that pretty much narrows down the player pool.
Evan Ingram's still there.
He is.
Take him.
Oh no! Oh no!
There were two rules.
And done right there with the slap.
The rules were no Kamara slander and no spoilers in the chat.
Coop, I'm gonna just take a wild guess and assume you're like all in on Evan Ingram and Denter.
Obviously. In all formats.
How could you
just
not
don't
be?
see it, man. I just don't see the.
He's gonna be the Joker, Kevin. Come on.
He tweeted the Joker gif.
Yeah.
Denver rotates every single position on that. I mean, we're looking at Nate Atkins and Lucas Kroll also getting work. They rotate every single position. I don't know if Evan Ingram can run. I mean, Sutton was the only guy that ran like over 68% of the routes last season, and that's
Of course,
pretty.
yeah, because they were doing live tryouts. They were trying to figure out who was going to be the guy, right? Like they tried Greg Dulcich. He went out there, had 8 targets, dropped 3 of them. They tried Lucas Kroll. They tried Devon Vele. They tried Lil Jordan Mims, who's the biggest guy named Lil that there's ever been. They tried all these guys in the slot, and nobody could do it. So they went out and they bought one, Evan Ingram, the guy, and they told him, "You're going to be the Joker." And he goes, "What's that?" And then when they told him, he was so excited, he tweeted out a gif of the Joker. I'm fired up. I think it's going to be highly
crazy idea he had for doing that. Amazing stuff.
He
right?
definitely was Googling his name and stole it
Son
from
of a
you
bitch.
for sure.
He
Because
stole that from me.
I know he searches his name because he retweeted one of my tweets once where I said he should get paid more. Fact.
This guy.
I still remember when
This
Taylor
guy gets
Gabriel retweeted you, Coop.
Yeah, he was pissed.
And who was it? Who's the Saints nickelback? Lante Taylor?
So he
Oh,
was
yeah,
he was
Vontae.
That dude was pissed.
The funniest part about that is that he was like, "Yeah, how's your bet doing?" And because he like they won the game, and I was like, "Our bet hit in the first half, dude. Like you let up so many targets." I was like, "We hit that bet by a mile, bro." Lante Taylor, bro. Like I get you guys won, but like that bet was a slam dunk, dude. So, but anyway, dude. I'm not worried about Alante. Alante played a lot better last year. Good for him.
Hard to have played worse.
Yeah, the bar wasn't super high on
Dude,
that.
this stuff gets me in trouble, dude.
He's gonna search himself on
More people are
YouTube.
doing the 2 QB thing here. It's
I took one.
smart. QB scored a ton of points.
You took 2.
When
You've
you
got
get
Daniel
to
Sandback.
so the way the scoring works is that it really does reward obviously carries. So the mobile QBs should be in their own tier at the top that go like with the elite running backs, right? There's a group of guys that don't get many favors from this format, though touchdowns are also worth 6. So that's a little bit of a bonus for anyone that can throw 50. So there's your Joe Burrow, right? But there's a group of guys that don't get a bonus. But the thing is, even those guys are worth more than like the wide receiver 2s and 3s for a lot of these teams. So I think we should, if people are playing this right, we should see a pretty decent quarterback run over the next couple of rounds.
Well, so I'm glad you brought that up because that was kind of one of my questions that I wanted to ask about. So like with that having 6 points for all touchdowns, does that kind of give some more of our pocket passers a little bit of a boost? Where do you see them going? Where do you feel like is an appropriate spot for them to start going? Do you think it's in the
You got to make a list. You got to make a list of guys you think can throw 40 touchdown passes. And if you don't think your guy can do that, then it doesn't help him because we're only talking 2 extra points. That's what you need to be like a real difference maker.
Yeah. If you're not going to have rushing equity, you're not going to be able to compete with the top. Like you're capped at like QB8.
Yeah.
True.
I think it's funny. We actually haven't even talked about the boost that Jalen Hurts kind of gets, right? If you're talking about if they're still doing the tush push and you're scoring for first downs and you're scoring, 6 points for passing touchdown and 6 points for his rushing touchdowns, all and points per carry, like all of a sudden Jalen Hurts becomes, even more. I think he beats the snot out of a Josh Allen for sure.
The problem with Josh Allen is that he doesn't he's been running less. Like he ran the fewest times per game last year, 100 carries, and very rare to see guys over 28 years old running that much. He's actually only the 3rd guy over 28 years old to run 100 times. Him, Cam Newton, Michael Vick. So I do worry about his volume. He'll still run plenty, but there are guys that are going to run. Like I took Jaden Daniels over him because Jaden Daniels is going to run 150 times.
Yeah.
I also just took Dak Prescott over a different quarterback that I have higher in my rankings. You guys distracted me with all the all the Twitter beef that I've been in with
The
more than I remember.
beef history.
Yeah, I've been very well behaved lately. Let the
you're
record.
due.
Let
You're
the
Well,
record.
the off
Don't worry,
You're
Coop.
due,
I'll take
Coop.
I'll take Drake May as a backup as my
That's
third
oh,
QB.
there's Colby. So I actually good pick, Colby. I have where I took Prescott. I actually should have taken Drake May. That's how I have it right. I mean, he ran 54 times in his limited snaps, and he had 421 yards. Bo Nix ran 92 times in a full season, and he had 430 yards. So Drake May was ripping off like chunk plays. He's fast. He's faster than you might think. So he ran a faster 40 time than Jaden Daniels.
Don't sleep on Brock Purdy's 323 rushing yards and a much worse defense either.
Howard sleeping. Colby, Drake May for Dak Prescott straight up.
I appreciate the offer, but no thanks.
Just leave it on read.
Good. Good. Cool.
Come on, make your pick. Who you taking? Don't take my guy.
Who are you taking?
Don't take my guy.
She sniped you like every round.
Good.
Seriously, don't take my. You didn't. Good. Okay. Thank you. Whew. Okay.
Safe.
That was so close.
I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
Ooh. Uh-oh. Now I'm up.
Wah, wah, wah,
I
wah.
know. Let's see.
Take Olave. He'll play 3 games.
Hey.
That's the oof. I mean, is there anybody besides Kamara that you want from the Saints? Like, really?
I don't even really want. I'll share my Coop. Put your earmuffs on here.
I hate this take.
This is here's my quick little Kamara take. Okay, Kellen Moore is the offensive coordinator. When he was with Dallas, everybody pissed and moaned that he didn't throw the football to Tony Pollard enough.
Mhm.
Then he went to the Chargers, where Austin Eckler was coming off of a career season. And what did they do? He didn't get any of the targets. He had some of the worst. He had one of the worst seasons that he's had in quite some time. Then he goes over to the Eagles and he gets Saquon Barkley. And while that's great because Barkley is an absolute beast and the ideal running back for that format, Saquon Barkley saw 53 targets. That was the lowest number of targets that he's seen in any season that he played, except for the 1 year where he only played in 2 games. So now he goes down to New Orleans. They've now jacked up on other added running backs in there. Not great names, but still they draft Devin Neal, who's kind of a plodder. Alvin Kamara has never had a 1,000-yard rushing season. He's made his whole career based on being a pass catching running back, primarily in a Joe Lombardi system. Right. So now he's got Kellen Moore, who doesn't like to throw to the running back at all. He wants his quarterbacks looking downfield. How much work is Alvin Kamara really going to get in the passing game?
A lot, because he rocks.
Because he rocks.
I
Can't
can't
put that in the bottle.
Also,
Can't put that back in the bottle. I
Also,
understand.
on your 1,000-yard rushing stat, do you believe that if Alvin Kamara played the final 3 games of the season, he would have got those 50 yards he needed?
Do I don't know. It's a moot point because it didn't happen. So, I mean, listen, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. I could give you a whole bunch of different hypotheticals.
I've been telling you got to use the wheel bike one instead of the balls one.
I mean, there's a lot of guys that can take targets in that. 90-year-old Brandon Cooks does nothing for you.
I'm telling you, dude, this guy, this format, he's going to do there when the rubber meets the road and the jobs are on the line, and Mickey Rooney gave him $20 million guaranteed. They're going to give that guy the ball one way or another. This guy in the league, there are 4 players that are running backs that have averaged over 100 yards per game from scrimmage. It's Christian McCaffrey, who was drafted in the first round, great pick. It's Saquon Barkley, drafted in the first round, great pick. It's Jonathan Taylor, who was drafted in the second round, great pick. And then it was Alvin Kamara, who was drafted a million rounds later. There's 4 guys that do it one way or another, whether catching the ball or running the ball. He's always been a star. He is a star. He's awesome. He rules. I'm picking him.
And you know what? Austin Eckler also ruled and is a star and was amazing. And listen, they came at me with the torches and the pitchforks also for bad mouthing. I have a guy, I saved a tweet actually, where some guy like wrote to Sirius XM about taking me off the air because I didn't have Austin Eckler ranked as one of my top 5 running backs in 2023.
Right.
He tried to get me fired because he hated my take so much.
Even then, in this format, he would have been good because he got 270 looks. He wasn't efficient with them, but he got the carries plus the targets. Like in this format, doesn't matter if you're efficient as long as they're forcing you the ball. Wando Robinson in this format last year would have been a star.
Yes.
A superstar. Sure, he caught half of his 140 targets. Sure, he is one of only 2 players ever to get 140 targets and not have 700 yards. The other being Chris Chambers in one of the weirdest seasons I've ever seen. But it doesn't matter because you get 140 points for the 140 targets.
I'd rather draft Wan'Dale Robinson than Alvin Kamara.
You make me sick. Colby, Alvin Kamara or Wan'Dale Robinson if you're on the clock.
Alvin Kamara.
See, there you go. I rest my case.
We shall see.
Yeah.
You make some good points, though. You make some good points.
My only thing about it is that a coordinator doesn't change his scheme. Like, I mean, maybe you'll see a tweak here and there for a player if he's coming over and he's taking over an offense. But, if a Leopard doesn't change his spots, and we've seen this step by step from Kellen Moore, like, why are we suddenly not believing it now? If he crapped on Austin Eckler's value in 2023, why is he going to cater to the value of Alvin Kamara 2 years later?
Yeah, well, he's just going to get a boatload of carries instead of targets, or he'll probably get both. But he's
then he'll break.
More carries. No, he won't break. There's built like a truck, 225 pounds, dude. Best contact balance in the league. Not to mention, last year Saquon Barkley was chasing a record, and you only get 2,000 rushing yards if you get handoffs. Every pass to Saquon Barkley did not count towards the record. Yes, you're nodding because it is true.
Listen, I love this. This is great. I can't wait. I'm trying
This player was.
I want to gather your tears in this water bottle because I'm going to bathe in
this player was picked 5 rounds ago. Stacey,
at the end of the
take
year.
control.
Yeah.
Mute us both.
There we go. You guys are done.
Mute me.
Howard is Cartman licking the face right now.
For wrong.
Your tears are so yummy.
Gosh. Coop, I can't mute you. I have a question. Well, since we have you, I want to do some tight end talk.
I'm going to make you eat your parents.
not again. hate when that happens.
My mother does an excellent Cartman impersonation, and it is the freakiest thing you'll hear. This sweet 78-year-old woman do a Cartman impersonation.
Oh, if I could pick any talent, that'd be way up there.
I'll have to record her doing it one day when she doesn't know. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I actually you're on the clock, but you have 2 minutes, so I feel like you're gonna be able to handle this at the same time, I think. Okay. Tight ends, right? They're getting that extra point per reception. So I want to know who are some like mid-tier, late round tight ends who are going to really benefit from the scoring format.
These are company secrets. Fine. So the thing to keep in mind, and this is huge for your drafts because certain players are going to be overdrafted. And I don't want to call out anyone specifically, Ann Dunn and Vince Mapstone. But the tight end premium is not applied equally to all stats. It's only applied to the receptions. So you get the same target totals, you get the same yardage totals, you get the same touchdown totals. There's no extra tight end premium for touchdowns. So the guys that make their bones on touchdowns like Mark Andrews and Sam Laporta don't necessarily get as big of a benefit by the tight end premium. guys like Kevin's pick, Brock Bowers, and Vince's other pick, Trey McBride. So Vince, 1 for 2. You get so many extra points for those receptions. That's where it is. So for the mid-round guys, you got to separate the guys that break off big chunk plays and score touchdowns, right? Like last year, take Tucker Kraft. He only averaged 4.1 targets per game. He only had 70 targets, but he had 2 60-yard plays that were big touchdowns, and he had a bunch of touchdowns. And that's how he like eked his way up towards the back end tight end 1 range. But you don't get any extra points for that. Whereas a David Njoku or an Evan Engram or somebody who's doing it with brute force volume, you get super bonus points for that. So like the David Njoku pick is, in my opinion, a great one, the Evan Engram pick. So, hey, Rowdy, 1 for 2. So Ann and Vince are doing it half right. And I think those guys are like the exact kind of guys you want to go for. And later, when you're thinking about this game, don't worry about like chasing guys that are on good teams because they're going to score touchdowns. Think about who can get you 100 targets. Those are the guys.
I was waiting for you to check off the Randy McMichael bingo square on that.
Okay, so every tight end that has finished top 5 in fantasy football going back to 2003 has gotten either 90 plus targets or 10 plus touchdowns. And touchdowns are hard to bank. So 90 is where you want to go. And as Kev illustrates, the guy that did it in 2003 was Randy McMichael for the Miami Dolphins. So check the bingo. How close are you to bingo?
If you say Mercedes Lewis, I win.
I was going to say, we've had Mohamed Sanu. We've had a Chris Chambers reference tonight.
Chris Chambers, dude.
I'm gonna have to go back in the archives to pull out the bingo card.
I have a.
We had a Desclafani reference.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you like cornered Bill James right now and you told him to name a baseball player, it would take him 5 million baseball players to land on Tony Disco.
Oh my goodness. Is this the year Dalton Kincaid finally like reaches his potential and like hope of what we wanted him to be?
Go to Colby for this one.
Colby, talk to me about Dalton Kincaid.
The guy I got wrong last year in basically every league.
Oh, same here.
Right here too.
Everybody on the panel. Everybody on the
This is
panel.
asking for a friend right here.
Not me. I didn't draft him.
I
Listen.
drafted him everywhere, and it was disgusting.
Yeah. I'm very reluctant to go Kincaid's way this season. I'm a little scarred from last year. I'm not holding it against him, but it definitely kind of rings true in my ears. And that Joe Brady offense, it's just going to continue to rely on Josh Allen. They're going to spread the ball around. So I just think when you look at ADP, there's going to be other tight ends who are going to be more attractive. And there's going to be people who go in drafts and say like, hey, I'm getting one of my tight ends early and I'm not going to, mess with the Dalton Kincaid tier. So I probably won't have a ton of shares of Kincaid this year. I've completed a couple of best ball drafts already and have not even considered Dalton Kincaid. So consider me out.
I took him one spot, right? In one of the beat bender leagues that we're doing over at RT Sports. It's a tight end premium, and it was like one of the last picks. But I was just saying this to Coop earlier today. You have so many interchangeable cogs in that passing game. The only person who stands out as doing anything different is Keon Coleman. Dalton Kincaid, along with Dawson Knox. I mean, put him in there with Elijah Moore and Curtis Samuel and Khalil Shakir. I mean, it's all the same guy. They're all Cole Beasley's.
They're all slots. Yeah, you can only play like so
Cole
many
Beasley.
slot receivers at one time.
If they're all Cole Beasley's, right, then and the targets are spread out evenly, the tight end premium and just the tight end scarcity in general goes Kincaid's way. Rumor on the street is from the GM, Brandon Bean, he's been working out, getting yoked up, so he's ready to play a little more.
So he'll be almost like Dawson Knox's size then, and he'll be able to fill in when Dawson can't play.
Everybody looks good.
But he doesn't have
everybody looks good in June.
Hands
Yeah.
like Dawson Knox.
Nobody's saying that guy looks like shit in June. Nobody's saying
No.
But,
Have you guys seen?
well, except
unless you're Dalton
for
Kincaid,
Deebo,
maybe.
no, except for Deebo Samuel. Like that's the
Oh.
one that people
Oh,
are saying.
no, there's no
Poor
body
Gino.
shaming
Yeah,
allowed.
don't body
here.
shame.
I didn't.
You can't
I'm
do
not
that.
body shaming. I'm
Is
saying
that like the
people-
Tony Romo picture where remember Tony Romo was coming out of the Dallas tunnel? He looked like he was like 300
Oh.
pounds.
people are saying. I mean, dude, people were saying that about James Harden, and he dropped like 35 points a game. So
Apples
We're
to
back
oranges.
for another fat Keenan Allen off season.
Keenan Allen's
Oh.
awesome. It's Keenan Allen. The thing that scares me about Keenan Allen is that like unicorn horn on his shoulder. That's a scary thing. I'm not sure you guys are seeing. He has a shoulder injury that is like crazy looking. Don't Google that, chat.
He's got a
Is that like
narwhal
Is
growing
that like
out of his shoulder.
calcified bone or something?
It literally looks like a horn. Like it is.
Oh.
It is. Yeah, he had an AC joint injury that he like never let heal, and it looks crazy.
Oh.
And people quietly googling it now. But yeah. So let me point out this part of the draft is where this is making me regret taking quarterbacks early because I think for a kind of a decent range here. I mean, think about your lineup, and I don't want to pick on anybody in particular. Erica, look at your. When you're setting your lineup, right, and you're going to click that button, what's going to be easier button to click? Jacoby Myers or Jared Goff? I feel like the quarterbacks have such a good floor and such a high ceiling that in this range, the quarterbacks are going to be super undervalued in the Scott Fish Bowl, and we're going to be able to make big money. If this is the way that the mock draft goes, I'm going to probably go hero QB, where I take one and I don't take another, because if I can get, I mean, there's still a bunch of QBs on the board. I don't want to do a lot of spoilers, but we only have 2 rounds left. Like, I would be very happy having a lot of these QBs available in my lineup every single week, because you have to start 11 players. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Jacoby Myers is a good player though, but still, a quarterback. There you go, Eric. Now your lineup's amazing.
You got Telon Herbert. I thought about taking Herbert too. At one point,
Herbert's
he was
great.
on my list. Yeah.
Great because he runs more now with Greg Roman too.
Did he have like 300 and something yards last year? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the thing is I've been looking at quarterbacks in 3 categories instead of 2. There's rushing quarterbacks, and then there's mobile quarterbacks, and then there's pocket passers, right? Pocket passers, guys like Goff, no interest in running at all.
No.
Rodgers, Stafford. There's a whole range of guys that can give you a bunch of yards.
The Daniel Jones pick.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones, mobile, borderline rushing QB.
He can scoot.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Sam Darnold. Me and Howard were shocked. We looked it up the other day. He ran for 300 yards.
Did he really?
Dude, apparently. We were looking at it and we're like, no chance. But yes, that's a fact. I have to double check it actually because I'm not. Let me confirm.
Oh, I'm gonna look. Hang on. I'll get it. I've got it pulled up.
200 yards.
It's
So not even a
tackle,
fact.
right?
You got to double check. Made up stat. 200 yards. 212.
Yeah.
He ran 67 times though. When every carry is a half a point, that's an extra 30 points.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's still a couple guys left on the board that ran more than that. So there's still some good options out there.
Also, it's 2 points for a tackle. So if Daniel Jones throws an interception and he just makes the tackle, I mean, let's call a spade here.
I don't really trust him to make the tackle though.
Could you imagine watching that game on Sunday, just rooting for the Colts to lose like I always am on Sundays, and you just see Daniel Jones throw a pick, and now you're screaming for him to go wrap the guy up before he gets out of bounds?
Right.
So
Peak week 1 action,
Oh my
baby. We're
gosh.
back.
a caution them play in this format where it's like normal, but tackles are worth 100 points. So it is like if your guy gets a tackle, it just breaks the whole thing, which is amazing.
I'm listening to Scott Hansen go, new Colts quarterback, Daniel Jones, out for the making the tackle. The new Colts quarterback ingratiating himself to the new Colts faithful.
As long as he doesn't pull a Mahomes and tackle his own wide receiver onto the IR.
Dude,
Yeah,
Or
sorry.
Rasheed Rice.
please
Yeah.
stop. Forever stop.
Yeah.
So can I got to make one more point on, because I've been studying real hard on this format. There is a penalty to some degree on quarterbacks versus other positions, because every other position you can start as many guys as you want with no limit. The only position with a limit is quarterback. So that is kind of a negative for that position, because if you draft 3 in your first 11, every player you draft in your first 11 picks, you can start unless you draft 3 quarterbacks. Then you can't start one of those guys who's on your bench. Kind of an interesting penalty for quarterbacks.
Maybe next year he'll make it so that you can start like an entire roster of quarterbacks. He hasn't done that yet, right?
That would be chaos.
You thought Superflex was bad?
I know, right?
Guess what?
That would be incredible. That would be nonsense.
What would you even call that?
I'll play college fantasy or Scott Fishbowl. I'll go in the juniors division.
Debbie Fishbowl. Oh man. All right, guys. So we're in the last round, 11th round tonight. Yeah. Real quick, fun Scott Fishbowl question. 1, is everybody here doing a live draft?
Nope.
No. Howard, what are you drafting? Where are you drafting?
I'm not doing a live draft. I am going to be doing my draft from my phone probably. But next year, you can set your plans up. SFB 16, Juneau, Alaska.
That would be exciting. That'd be fun. Better time to come to Alaska then, because I came in January and I got to tell you, did not have the best time.
No, yeah, this is the summertime's the season for them.
Yeah.
So come on down, come hang out. We'll put you up. We got a guest room.
Yeah, that'd be. I've been wanting. I want to see some bears. I want to see like the salmon like run and all that. Is this the time to do that?
I'm not sure if that's the time to do that.
Your Juneau travel guide, Howard Bender.
That's gonna be the bear's gonna be a no for me.
No, you don't want to go see bears in the wild.
No. Here in Massachusetts, we keep everything kind of non-lethal.
Yeah. You go to a Patriots game, you get mauled 10 times worse than a bear.
That was when I was a kid, maybe. Now tickets are too expensive for the roughhousers to get in.
There. I took a running back. You guys happy?
Hey,
no, I'm definitely not happy with that one.
Before we wrap this, I just want to say, anybody in the chat that was using my rankings or looking at them, Angie and whoever else, shoot me a DM on Twitter. Let me know if you were looking at them. I want to group up with you guys. I saw Angie saying that Juwan Jennings was underranked, and I fully agree. We're going to make some tweaks on those, so hit me up.
Nice. Yeah, so last pick, Kyle, you're on the clock to make our Mr. Irrelevant for tonight's draft. Thanks to everybody who joined in tonight drafting with us. This has been awesome. Guys, this has been so great. This is my first Scott Fishbowl mock. I know they've been out and about. I've been seeing them lately because I think tonight is the Vegas draft. So is that the first one? I think that's going, right? Do you guys know?
This weekend.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Super fun. Javonte Williams goes. I saw Jay Williams and I was like, at first, since we had talked about Jamal Williams, I immediately said, wow, Kyle took Jamal Williams in the 11th, but that's not Jamal.
I might rather have Jamal Williams than Javonte, if we're being honest.
You know?
Oh, be nice.
Just for the vibes.
The vibes are great with Jamal. I mean, that is no lie. The vibes are fantastic with Jamal Williams.
Very true.
As always. Former Packer. We'll love him forever. Guys, again, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Kind of just maybe tell us a little bit real quick, what favorite pick out of your squad so far before we wrap it up and go?
I like Colby's Drake May pick.
Yeah, that's nice.
That was supposed to be mine. So
that was 7th round?
Yeah, I think that's a really good value, because if you like Kyler Murray and you like Bo Nix, and honestly in this format, to some degree, if you like Josh Allen, those guys can put up a very similar volume. I mean, like Bo Nix last year had very similar. The stats were very similar. Besides the 12 rushing touchdowns versus 4 touchdowns, can be fluky, and like Kyler Murray and Drake May are capable of that too. So if you like those guys, you should like May.
Yeah. I like that spot. All right, Colby, who's your favorite pick so far? It doesn't have to be from your team. It can be from anybody.
No, I'm doubling down on what Cooper said. I'm going Drake May. I was stoked to get him there and rather surprised. So I like Colby's Drake May pick too.
Great pick. Everyone, Howard picked Colby's Drake May pick as well.
Howard, tell us why you like the Drake May pick.
I mean, I like the Drake May pick because you are getting a discount at on a mobile QB here. But if I'm gonna, pick a favorite that isn't mine, because I love all of mine, I'm gonna go with Erica's RJ Harvey pick in the fifth round. All right, we talk about it, right? Joe Lombardi running back room has ranked in the top 5 in receptions for those 13 straight years, something like that. So in this format where he's going to see targets and everything, it was always going to be a shared backfield, right? I mean, the question was he's going to share it with Estime, or was he going to share it with McLaughlin? Well, possibly even both. So now it's like it's going to be him and it's going to be Dobbins. So, I think Harvey will get the actual Alvin Kamara role that Joe Lombardi likes to run. And he'll beat the snot. My least favorite pick was whoever took Alvin Kamara. Oh, that was Kyle at 1. So
okay, show's over, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for stopping by.
Kev, who is your favorite pick?
I mean, I can never go against Brock Allen Bowers, who I think can break this format, just based on the fact that what he did last year with 3 replacement level quarterbacks and now gets Geno Smith, one of the most accurate quarterbacks, with Chip Kelly, who runs one of the fastest paced offenses dating back to his time in Philadelphia and with the 49ers. Like, that's just a cheat code. And he's going to be the top dog in that offense, even with Jacoby Myers. There's going to be more passing volume in that offense than I think we anticipate. Vegas could be pretty fun, and I think Bowers is going to be ahead of that. And I think we need to start looking at him as like the Kelsey of the last few seasons, where the dude is so target dominant and will be like at the top of draft boards for the next decade. And the future is now, old man.
Then why do I hear so much talk about Michael Mayer?
Oh, yeah.
Who?
Michael Mayer.
Who?
He's just
Who?
I'm not Michael Mayer. He's the Nick Boyle to the Mark Andrews of
the Tony Poljan.
The Lance Boyle.
Tony Poljan. I'd say Brock Bowers, not only about that, Kev, but like Travis Kelce didn't have a 1,000-yard season until he was 27 years old. Bowers just had 1,200 yards from scrimmage at 21. If he gets 150 targets this year, then he could be the number 1 scoring player in this format. That's why you do have to consider him in the first and second round. They should go easily then.
Would you take him 1 overall? Would you have any issue with that?
Can't do it.
No.
Because of the carry, the value of carries creates such a crazy floor for the top running backs.
That's why I took 5, though, is that's going to fall where Bijan, Barkley, those guys probably won't be there. Like, I would entertain Genty as well if Brock Bowers would go, because I think, just with his volume, is king. I think he's got as good of a shot to be the RB1. And it's wild to say, knowing how the Raiders have done the past couple of years and the kind of stink they have in terms of putting out fantasy aspects. But now we're looking at Bowers and Genty being like at the top of draft boards for the next however long.
I cannot overstate this enough. You don't even have to be good in this format. Like, you don't have to be a good player as long as the team tries to give you the ball a ton of times. It is crazy. Just the attempt to get you the ball is worth points a lot.
Yep.
As long as they like you and they keep getting you the ball, you're golden.
The intent is what matters.
True. Yeah. Erica looks like she's super stressed out right now. So I'm afraid to ask her what's going on.
We're down like 26 points right now.
Come on,
well,
Thunder.
Interesting. So what game is
scored? No one's scored.
No. I mean, I know what game. I mean, like what number in the series?
Game 6.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they don't have very much. All right. Well, they got to make it go to game 7 then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pulling for you guys, man.
Halliburton gutting it out.
Oklahoma needs a championship.
He didn't score last game, so he has to, make up for it this game.
Go.
Do you want to talk about your favorite pick in our draft?
Well, Howard sniped me for Chuba Hubbard, so he was going to be my pick that round, and he sniped me one before. So I love Chuba. I think he's gonna be great this season. So I'm excited to see.
That has nothing to do with the Oklahoma State banner right behind your head.
No, none at all.
No bias.
Completely independent.
Completely unbiased Chuba Hubbard fandom. Okay.
Always.
I was gonna also say Chuba Hubbard. I just feel like he's just set up for success again this year, and I like that pick. I probably should have taken him instead of James Cook, so I'll probably regret that in my mock draft dreams later.
The only way that it could have been more intentional is if there's a Canadian flag behind Eric as well.
Yeah. You're crossing that.
Yeah, for SGA, for Chuba, big Canadian fan here.
Gang.
Oh man. All right, guys. Well, like I said, this has been great. Howard, Coop, Colby, thank you guys so much for hanging out and spending your evening with us. Howard, tell everybody where they can find you and what you're working on. Let the people know.
All right. You can find me all over social media at Roto Buzz Guy. If you're on TikTok, at The Real Roto Buzz Guy. Work is all over fantasyalarm.com. I do some work over at rtsports.com as well. We're doing a Beat Bender best ball tournament, $10,000 grand prize. It's $20 entry. And SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern time. Come get me. I got Jim Bowden with me Mondays through Wednesdays. I got Andrew Cooper with me on Thursdays and Fridays.
Other than Thursdays and Fridays, when you're with Howard, Coop, where else are you at?
Chains in the basement, learning stats.
Committing them all to memory.
Deep in the content mines.
Tweeting them when possible. I have to be careful what I tweet now because Howard's new segment is pull up Coop's tweets and make fun of them, which is really cool.
That was a great segment. You know what? I was going to do the show sheet for tomorrow and I forgot about that. I gotta re-add that in.
Bro. Yeah. So, and then, all my content's up for all my rankings for this, which will be tweaked a little bit. You can find me on TikTok. I did secure the username RotoBuzzGuy. So Howard, did somebody really steal that from you?
I guess, yeah.
That's so annoying. That is super annoying.
They're probably like, you know what? This dude's gonna be over here, and then we're gonna charge him, for buying the handle back.
That's crazy, bro.
TikTok handle.
On Twitter at Coupe Fiasco, on Reddit at Coop. There it is. If you want to argue over there. So that's where my stuff's at.
Nice. Colby, let everybody know where they can find you too.
Yep, at Colby Conway over on X, and anyone who's still in the fantasy baseball room out there, Howard Bender and I do the Caught Stealing podcast. So if you want to hear a couple of dudes complain about their fantasy teams and tell you who to pick up, go check us out over at Fantasy Alarm.
Can I hire you to do my fantasy baseball draft next year? Because I always end up in like 11th or 12th place, and my teams are trash because I take all Braves. That's all I do.
I can get you.
That's where both Colby and I are this year. So
to 9.
Sure.
Says he can get you to 9.
I can run yours into the ground just as well as mine.
All right. I'll be reaching out to you guys next April. But again, thank you guys so much again for coming on and hanging out with us. Guys, don't forget, give us a like, a subscribe, a follow if you had a good time tonight. We will be back next week, 9:00 at the same time. We are going to be doing another Scott Fishbowl mock draft. So if you are interested in jumping in the draft with us, send us a DM, let us know. Again, you can give us all a follow as well. Eric is over at America 108, and that is America with a K. Kev is over at K Tompkins II at Blue Sky. So you can go skeet at him at Blue Sky. I am over at Stacy_Perez 83 on all forms of social media. And until next week, guys, we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.